Hi, this is Marcey Rader, your productivity lead at RaderCo. I'm the principal contributor to the Health Powered Productivity podcast, where we give you bite-sized nuggets of knowledge in areas of productivity, health, and clutter that you can implement right away. Looking for ways to support our health powered productivity mission? We welcome donations to our tip jar, linked in the show notes. We encourage you to check out our RaderCo recommendations page on our site, where we list all of our favorite products, services, and apps. We get a little kickback and you get vetted tools that we use ourselves. Now, on with the show. I've worked remotely since 2001. I was hybrid for 1 year and I'd go in and out, but I've been remote ever since. When I was a corporate trainer, I went into the office to conduct training, but still I worked from home when not actively delivering. I traveled almost weekly for a decade, so working from home was a great compromise to being on the road. This remote stuff is not new to me. When COVID hit us and everyone quickly shifted to working from home, I was inundated with requests to train teams to work well remotely. I'd been delivering training on that topic for over a decade. I had one company call and say, I don't even know how my CEO heard of you, but we said that we were shifting to working remote. And this person said, you need to call Marcey Rader. I was training so many people in that first 6 months, I lost count. But I was happy to help companies move into that space. Some of the things I heard from companies and managers shocked me. They were afraid they couldn't trust their employees to actually be working. They didn't believe they were putting in their hours. And in some instances, I was speechless at what I heard and saw. One person stated that she was required to log into Zoom the entire time she was clocked in. She felt smothered. I felt enraged. She reached out on social media and said, hey, does anybody else's company make them log in the entire time? I could not believe it. I also had people say, my manager's making me send a Teams chat every hour to make sure that I'm at my desk. If you can't trust your employees to work from home, they shouldn't be working from you in the office. And really, the number of work hours is arbitrary. If they can get their work done in less time, celebrate that. Don't make them continue to sit there and surf the web. Can you tell I'm getting a little heated up about this? Do you sit behind your staff and monitor their tabs? Because I guarantee there's some ordering from Amazon while they're at the office, or whether they're at the office or at home. Probably just like you are doing sometimes. When you were in the office, I'm sure you opened up a tab for personal, just like to let your mind wander a little bit, or to do some personal tasks like schedule your dentist appointment. Having somebody sign on via Zoom and screenshot what they're working on, every hour is just, it just leaves me speechless. And if the time of day doesn't really matter, celebrate that we all have high and low points during the day of productivity and energy, and allow people to capitalize on that. Don't punish a night owl by making them start work at 8 a.m. And maybe you can't give complete flexibility, but could you just have a block of 4 to 6 hours required, like 10 to 3, and then any other work can be done when they're at their best? Working from home for some is a privilege, I get it, and a necessity. But when people lack trust, it makes me think that they must be untrustworthy and not work efficiently from home. Now, some people just don't work well by themselves, and I'm not talking about that. I am an ambivert. I really like working from home. I'm so distracted that working from an office, I don't get anything done. So for people like me, being remote, I am just a much more productive person. but I do belong to a co-working space. And once a week, I go into that co-working space and I like having the people around me. I like being somewhere different. I bring in my concierge and we work together for a few hours, and it is awesome. But that is really just more of a personal preference. I'm actually much better on my own. But there are people who are not, that they need to get up, get dressed, leave their house, and have a separation between work and home. They need to have the people around them. Maybe their job is really collaborative and it works better that way. But it doesn't have anything to do with trust. It just has to do with how much more productive they are. Did you know that people who work from home tend to work more hours, not less? Especially during the pandemic, the increase in hours shot up to an average of 2 hours more per day. Since there wasn't anywhere to go, we just worked more. And now that things are more opened up, it's still the case and always has been for the majority of people. We work more hours when we're remote. Why? Because there aren't as many drive-by conversations or idle chats. We don't need to go across a building or another floor to go to the bathroom or refill our water. It's just a few steps. We're less likely to go out for lunch and even less likely to take a break at lunch. People eat in front of their screens more when they work from home, which isn't healthy or productive. I know for me, even still, when I work for myself, it feels weird to go out for lunch by myself in the middle of the day during the work week. So when people are working from home, they're not taking that time. But in the office, a lot of times they would think nothing of it. Remote workers feel nervous about stepping away. They're afraid if they go out for lunch, they may get a message during that time and get caught because they don't reply right away. This was me when I first worked remote. I remember taking my cat to the vet. I was gone for about 45 minutes. And my boss happened to call me because she had sent me an email and I didn't respond back within like 30 minutes. So she called my phone and I felt like I had been caught. I started making up excuses and things. And then I realized later, this is somebody, my boss worked from the office. And I thought, okay, so I just was gone for 40 minutes and I sit in front of my computer and eat lunch every day. She probably goes out to lunch with some of the people there once or twice a week. Why am I so scared that I'm going to get caught? Remote workers often feel like they have to make excuses if they can't be reactive to your Teams or your Slack chat immediately. And I say reactive, not responsive. They don't turn it off at night because their office is right there, often going back to work after dinner or checking email one more time before bed. For the love of kittens, please relook at your stance and trust your remote workers. Don't create a culture of secrecy and hostility because that's what lack of trust is. If you can't trust them at home, you can't trust them in the office. Do you need help managing well remotely? That's one of our training topics in our Work Well Remotely series, where we train managers and team members on how to work well together from home. Thank you for listening to the RaderCo Health-Powered Productivity Podcast. Please subscribe, leave a review, and forward this episode to at least one person you know could benefit. And can I ask a favor? If you felt this podcast was valuable, please consider supporting it by donating to our tip jar to continue giving you bite-sized nuggets of knowledge. And get your sneak peek of my latest book, Work Well, Play More, Productive, Clutter-Free, Healthy Living, One Step at a Time, with the novice behaviors from chapter 1 that includes how to deal with all those rings, pings, and buzzes, how to declutter your digital desktop and why it's important, and how to play hide and seek with your food to help with portion control. It's waiting for you at helloraderco.com/gift.